It's the Green Rush Nation podcast. I just had the bluest dream that you've ever seen, and I can't believe that shit was green, cause it hit so clean, and my history is a mystery. I don't give a fuck, I just hit the tree on the 5th degree. We don't pit for free. If you don't got 5 shit, get up and leave. It's the Green Rush Nation podcast. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's the Green Rush Nation podcast. I'm your boy B-GUNZ. Today we have a very special guest. He came out from far, far away. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't too far. But he's a legend in the industry. He's brought his product to store. He has many, many stories. Our friend Shane from Maven. How we doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, we appreciate you coming out. How was the travel in?
Not bad at all. I think this time you kind of are able to dodge the LA traffic, you know, the parking lot of the freeways that we deal with. But yeah, man, you guys are easy. We're local to where you're at, so it's no problem getting here.
Beautiful. It's President's Week too, right? Do the kids have all for President's Week out here? I'm from New York, so I don't know.
Yeah, actually, I think they get one day off. I think schools or whatever. Because when I was out and about the other day on Monday, I didn't see
Monday was a beautiful day.
And I was like, oh, this is great. I wish it was like this all the time. But yeah, I think schools are out just that one day, and then everyone's back to the grind Tuesday.
Interesting. Yeah. Shit is so different out here. Like, we used to get that whole week off. And I guess the East Coast, it is a little different. That was a huge ski weekend. Yeah. I was a ski and snowboard instructor, so all the kids that 1 week, I'll be like, where the fuck are they all coming from? But they had off.
Yeah, that's how it was in the, like, going to the beach or whatnot on certain days. I was like, what the hell? There's so many people here. But, the days off are always nice. Definitely. But not in the cannabis industry. We don't get any.
Nope. But, hey, we don't need any.
Nope. We're here to grind and keep it moving. So,
exactly.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of that, here at Green Rush Nation, we don't want to just know about the business side of things. We also want to know about you. So what was the first interaction that you ever had with cannabis? Like, how did you discover it?
You know, being a surfer and a part of, like, the whole skateboard surfing culture, I guess you could say, cannabis was always so relevant in it.
I can imagine.
And, you know, being around it forever, it was just like a natural, normal thing to me, where a lot of other people had this weird phrase of it being the devil's lettuce or like drugs or whatever. And I was like, man, like, that's just such a funny, like, stigma to put on this plant. So literally, for me, it was always normal and natural. And I think just growing up in that culture, it was always around. So it never really fazed me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you remember your first time smoking?
I do. And it was so funny, man. I think we just had some probably some brick weed from who knows where. And it was me and my buddy Justin. He owns Cali Buds, and you know, we were with a group, like this girl Tracy, and I think her name was Lindsay or something. We were like smoking weed, and all of a sudden this girl gets like super paranoid, and I look at my buddy, and I'm like, "Yo, man," I'm like, "Am I gonna end up like that, bro?" So I started to get a little weird. He's like, "You're gonna be fine," and it was just like that moment of like, you could see what could happen to other people if they're not familiar with it, or the wonder of what could happen to you, because everybody's bodies adapt differently. And I was fortunate to not have that type of moment. So, you know, I just kind of kept it rolling, and it's always kind of been a part of my lifestyle.
And you got high the first time?
I don't know if I did or not. I just was.
You were just there in the moment?
I was just there in the moment, watching this whole thing unfold that I was hoping didn't happen to me. And then I think the more that I was able to experience cannabis and kept trying it, the first time I really, really felt high was our buddy Oren's brother Alone. He was like the main dude in Calabasas that everyone knew had the weed.
He was the guy.
He was the guy. So he was taking us to the beach one day, and he had a bong, and he had all this hash, and he had the cat piss and like all these strains, and they're telling me how to smoke out of a bong, and they're like, bro, you put the weed in there, you fill up the whole chamber, and you pull it, and you inhale as much as you can. And I'm like, oh, I could do that. Bro, like, I got so paranoid. I was, like, super cotton mouth. Like, you imagine, like, a bad experience, because I was trying to go hard at, like, what they were telling me on how to use weed.
Yep.
And I realized what can happen when you go down the rabbit hole. But, you know, I find my happy medium on where I like to consume, and you know, that's where I'm at. It's like shots or a beer. What do you want? You want to go hard, or do you want to just take a couple of hits? That's my lane.
That's true. Now, like with the dabs and shit, I compare that to people like, oh, what is that? I'm like, well, if you drink, a dab's a shot, for sure. It'll get you there.
For sure.
But if you want to hang out, just smoke a joint.
Yeah. I just, you know, I found my lane. I think always in the culture, you're like trying to finish the whole thing or whatever. And I'm like, nah, man, like 1 or 2 hits for me is where I want to be, and then a few minutes later, whatever, take another 1 or 2 and kind of coast through it. That's my functioning chill. But maybe on vacation, I'll dive a little deeper.
Indulge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no. I was actually one of those people who did get very paranoid my first couple of times. It took me a couple times, and I was like, I don't know if I like this, man. But then it was the one time that it like I was waiting for that to hit the paranoia, and I'm like, hold on, I think I like this, man. This is cool. Like it never hit, and I was like, okay. And then after that one time, it was just good times after that.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And you know, there's like times in life too where you're like chilling on the couch and you're home relaxing, and I'll get my extra hit in, and then sometimes I'll be contemplating life. I'm like, oh shit, like the extra hit didn't help me right now because there's too much going on. Yep. So it's all balance, you know.
I've even been through my points. I've been a smoker for a long time at this point, so I went through my phases too, where like I would start getting paranoid, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on? I smoke every day. Like, what's happening now?" But I feel like we've all had those phases too, you know, where it's like, I think I should quit.
I still go through them. There's moments where I'm like, "Oh shit, I quit," and then it goes away, and I'm like, "No, you don't."
Good to go.
Yeah, I'm fine.
So yeah, cool. So were you all, I mean, we talked a little bit before this, so it sounded like you were this kind of guy, but were you that type of person who was just always involved in like the sales of it and like just pushing packs, and, you know, when did that start?
You know, that kind of started when I was, you know, going to college, right around when I was like 21. I was working in a parking booth, and all my friends were growing weed, and they were doing great. And like, this is the days of like not saturated market.
Yep.
But, you know, for me to move out to Orange County, I had this job that was trying to discipline myself because my dad managed a bunch of properties out there, and he's like, "You're going to do this for me." So I sit in these parking booths, the people come out, pass the ticket, and I could see who was smoking weed all day and who wasn't. And I'm like, there's a lot of people that smoke weed when they get off work. And then I knew people. So I had, you know, a QP broken down into eighths, and then started like selling them out of the booth.
What a great fucking spot.
It was perfect because I was, what are you paying for your weed? And they're like, this. I'm like, all right. So I put it in little envelopes, so it made it look like they were paying their monthly payment for
parking's free with an eighth.
Yeah, right. So that's how I started, built up a little clientele, and then from that, like, networking expanded a little bit more, and then, you know, you grow.
That's it. And obviously, if you're good at it, people will always come back.
Yeah, it was a journey, you know, like from, you know, the pound movement, selling a lot of bulk pounds, and then looking at the whole side of cultivation, which was more interesting to me because it was more like I got to be hands-on. So I had the luxury of growing for 15 years.
Wow.
In the good old days. You know, I think I started roughly like 22, 23.
Okay.
You know?
And you're from out here? You're from California?
Yeah, I'm from California. Grew up in Agora Hills. Went to college out in Orange County, Irvine Valley College, and Cal State Fullerton. And then once I was done with that, I moved back to LA.
Okay.
Because my roots are here. All my friends, you know, they're like family. And, you know, it's just like, I've got a great circle of friends in Orange County. I love them to death. And then, you know, the bounce back and forth. But what I saw everyone doing in LA, and that being like where I was from, it made more sense to kind of go back to that.
Yeah.
And then when shops were opening up, and this is like in the days where licensing wasn't even a thing.
Okay.
And I really admire all the legacy retail holders, because those guys really like stood their ground on the direction cannabis was going.
Yeah.
And man, I'd see people get raided, and their stuff, everything would get taken, and then they would open up the next day, and then the cops would come back around. They were like legal robberies, man. Like they would literally take all the weed, money, ruin the surveillance systems, and then there was no repercussions except of just getting your shit taken.
And that's it. Like,
and that was it.
See you tomorrow.
So moving back to LA, I was like on the, you know, growing my own product, you know, and vending to all the shops back in those days, and still, you know, rotating and trying to see where the industry was going.
Okay, dope. And now when you were cultivating yourself, was it an outdoor thing, or did you do?
No. I when I was young, I had a little, what was it, like a 4-bedroom house. So my small little office room, I had a shitty, like, it wasn't like a veg, like today's world, but it was enough to fulfill my 2 rooms. I had the little bucket systems. I had 2 rooms of 48.
Okay.
I think I had 4 600s in each room. Not the best ventilation, not the best anything, and I was never even the best grower, to be honest. You know, I think I was doing it at a time where the market wasn't saturated, and it was a thing that was kind of a little worrisome.
Yeah.
But, you know, learning the craft and, you know, watching what really goes into it is amazing. But in my days, I just had like the little blue bucket ebb and flow systems, 48 in each room, and I had one room of Bubba Kush and one room of OG.
Wow, beautiful. Man, that Bubba Kush did make its rounds because we got that shit in New York too, and then everybody wanted it.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted it.
The Canadians got their hands on it at one point, and that was a beautiful moment. You know, there was a lot of great things going on in that era. But yeah, the Bubba, man, that's a great thing. I think Kenji has the real cut right now, so I got to rub some elbows with him to see if we can
Pop
get a
out
little,
over there,
little session or something.
Why not? Why not? Man, I think that's so fucking cool, bro. Just in the house, growing your shit, running your business. What was life like then? You know, what did your day look like?
Dude, you know, it was cool because I just, I think getting up and just going to school, like my neighbors never questioned me, and I wasn't a flashy guy, young kid, you know, a little nerdy dude, just going to school. And
so did you feel like, man, if they only knew?
There was my paranoia nights to where I would think about what I was doing and how close I was doing it to people, and if like my charcoal filter blew or like something happened, you could smell it outside. I was like, oh shit. But I think I was like close enough with my neighbors and not shady or a weirdo. I'd always say hi to everyone. Just be normal, dude.
Yeah.
Like everyone thinks like they got to be like on the low. It's like, but the more normal you are with people, the less you stand out, you know?
100%.
So I was like, I'm just going to say what's up to everyone, be normal. And
then chances are they probably smoke weed too. So if you
most
become
likely,
friendly, yeah.
most likely. I moved into a neighborhood where a few people were like, what do you do? And I'm like, I liked them enough to be honest.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh shit. And then we built a great relationship, you know, like it was awesome.
You know what's funny? The job that taught me that you never know who fucking smokes weed was when I was a valet.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
people were pulling up in all kinds of cars. You would never think that, oh, this guy's a business professional. He's not smoking. Dude comes outside, lights up the fattest joint. I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the stigma is so ridiculous, man. There's so many high-level professionals and you name it across the board. That's why I really appreciate the plant and what cannabis offers. And it's a diverse thing that I truly think keeps people's perspectives and grounding very, like, centralized.
Yeah.
You know, and alcohol has its relaxing components too, but it's so different.
Yeah.
It's like people always try to compare cannabis and alcohol, and it's like night and day.
Honestly,
there is no comparison.
That's what I was going to say, because things with alcohol, I was even just telling them, like, shit, if we wanted to get people on here, just feed them alcohol. They'll talk, but, like, you want to feed them weed, they might fall asleep.
For sure. or you get too much in depth on your thought, and you're like, oh, shit.
That's what I was thinking. But that's, like, bro, like, that's a huge different thing. You drink too much, you cause problems, there's fights. Like, there's not good things. You smoke too much, very rarely is there going to be problems.
You might get a little paranoid.
Yeah. You might get paranoid. You might fall asleep.
Absolutely, man. For sure.
But so now getting into the business side of it, I'm sure there was a lot of challenges even back in the day. What have been like some of your biggest challenges in this industry?
You know, the challenge in this industry is every day, just because I feel like there's such poor tax implementations on us.
Terrible.
It doesn't allow us to thrive, dude. So like the challenge is the taxes and just the lack of good business practice and structure, I think. Yeah. There's a couple cats out there, you know, to drop a real name that I admire his movement is Elliot from Catalyst, man. Like when you look at a true leader that is, you know, offering jobs and like building this whole professional outlook, you know, when I see what that man has done for the industry, let alone his voice on poor taxes, poor business practice, like the corruption, like he has his way of announcing it, and it's very strong and it's very him. But he's the only one that I see truly doing it. And I hope that other people in the industry follow to support his movement.
Yeah.
You don't have to, everyone will have their own way of voicing how they feel, but he's the first guy to be like, this is not it at all.
Yeah.
And I admire him, and I really appreciate what he's doing for the industry.
God bless. Shout out to him. Yeah. We need people like that. Like
Elliot, Catalyst, man. Thank you for what you do.
Good guy. I hear great things.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, now that they have me doing news every morning and shit too. So like I'm really learning a lot about like the laws and taxes and stuff. And I just heard that they're raising it another 25%. How do they expect legal market to survive? You know, like what do they want to do?
It's so sad to see that. You know, I feel like if this industry was professionally structured the right way, all the other thriving industries or companies or, you know, alcohol, like you name it, they're all taxed accordingly and fairly.
Same
I think,
across the board.
You know, like if we could come up with something I think the legal market would thrive that much stronger. You know, I think people would be more enticed to shop at retails.
Absolutely.
It would support the whole overall movement of legalization. I just think, unfortunately, like a lot of regulations are written, you know, people still like to operate in this old school way and not keep up with the times. But if you keep up with the times and you see the pulse of what is current and in front of you, it would benefit the overall rotation of like where things are going. And I look forward to being a part of that because I've seen it from the very, very beginning. So for me, or like legacy people, like I really take my hat off to them because it's a privilege for us to work in this industry.
Yeah.
And this is a thing that I keep going over and over in my head. Like we were in the trenches. We've gone through so many scary moments to follow our passions, to be a part of this movement. It's a privilege. And then there's the new era of cannabis where it's more of an opportunity or opportunist type situation. Yeah. So, you know, the hardships that we've gone through, I think we're pretty resilient, especially on the legacy side, because we know what we went through to get here. And we're so driven about our passion. I could only see it, you know, fingers crossed, it only gets better.
Absolutely. And I personally see, I haven't been in the industry long, but I see the people that do the best are the people that really care about it, that really connect with it, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like we were talking earlier, man, like the big money guys that come in and this like crazy pipe dream of taking over and this and that. It's like, you got to win your audience over, man. Yeah. Like you got to be authentic about what you do. You got to really support the culture. You got to be in tune. Like we all see what happens with corporate cannabis and how much the cannabis culture doesn't support it. Yeah. You know, there's a stigma still. I mean, things are going to evolve and will evolve, and hopefully that acceptance is in the favor of the culture.
I hope so. I hope so. And I hope that we can really push for like federally, you know, get this on a federal scale. And then, like you said, the legacy people, I feel like will really be able to set their legacy, you know?
Yeah, you would hope to spread your wings and really highlight your craft across the board and be able to offer it as far as the bandwidth is with alcohol and cigarettes and any other recreational choice, you know? So, well, we'll see, man. I mean, we're on the front line of prohibition if you really think about it, and we've made it this far, and we're going to continue to keep on pushing.
That's for damn sure. We're in the green rush, you know? Yep. It is what it is.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
But so now, was this your first brand that you made, or was this
Yeah, Maven, man. So like basically, you know, going around and vending to shops and like kind of seeing the industry moving forward in a way, like watching it mature, watching it evolve. You know, I'd see a lot of product that we would drop off to stores and they would put a sticker on the deli style jar, right? And people would name it like Saturn OG, like whatever I would drop off, they were naming they were like kind of branding it, right? So I was like, and I started to think about it, and like some of the cats that really got me motivated or inspired, like truly inspired, was like Vader Extracts, Dr. K, like, you know, he does Kush Stock.
Yep.
Those guys were on the front line of branding, especially Vader. Like those guys really were doing it when I was looking at their vape carts and like the stuff that they were doing with extracts. I'm like, damn, you guys, like, you're doing a thing.
Yeah.
And then when I started to think about all of this and the stresses that go on in the traditional market and watching the industry evolve, you know, I felt like my whole crew in LA, the team I work with now, they're like such amazing people. They're true connoisseurs in their craft. Like they were never just growers to grow, right? Like they were always very quality focused. And then I saw the word connoisseurs butchered so hard, like during this time of the industry evolving. I was like, what if there's a different name for connoisseur? So I looked up in the thesaurus and I saw Maven. It's Yiddish and it stands for experts in a specific field, the ones of knowledge, and connoisseurs. And I felt like my team was truly that, especially my partner Dave. Like he's our CEO. He's the guy that really put everyone on board to kind of get us where we're at today. He was like the dude, the decision maker, the guy that was like, we're going to do this. So
brains.
As I was, you know, going over brand ideas and wanting it to move forward, some people thought I was an idiot that I pitched it to for wanting to brand cannabis. And I was like, well, if I'm an idiot, maybe you're just not the right group to share it with. So that's fine. Pitched it to my team. I was in a little bit of a hard spot in Long Beach when I was living out there, and I really wanted to thrive in this, and they helped me move from Long Beach back out here, really started getting the momentum going with the brand, and And the journey began with these guys. So I've got, 6 partners, amazing people, like family, friends, love them to death. And without them, I wouldn't be able to be living my dream of branding and having everyone's support and contributions to the success of the Maven Genetics.
Absolutely. And so you just said this was a dream. So was this always your dream to like brand it and bring it to market?
I don't know if cannabis was always my dream. Like I've saw a lot of successful people in music that I was right next to that inspired me. In the professional skateboard industry that inspired me. So I was around a lot of people in like the 90s, 2000s that were inspiring. And wanting to start a clothing company, I started this clothing company called Leroy Jackson, which was like a fun little thing when my friends were doing hip hop events.
Oh yeah.
And that was a cool little thing to just have in addition to the event. But branding and like having something that I could share with the masses was always something I wanted to do.
Absolutely.
And I'm very grateful for this opportunity and just a chance to see if I have it. And, here we are 10 years later almost, still doing our best, putting our best foot forward to make this brand thrive. So, it's like a dream and a nightmare at the same time. Like the dream is seeing it on as many shelves and getting that momentum that you wanted behind the brand.
Yep.
And then there's a whole maintenance aspect that could be challenging, but I wouldn't swap out the challenges for anything. I'm truly blessed to be where I'm at, and I really look forward to what's ahead.
God bless.
Thank you.
I'm sure you needed those steps too. You needed to take everything as it came to learn.
Yeah. I don't know. Some people look at things as like failure or like I failed, and then you could beat yourself up on that, right? And like you could truly dig yourself into a ditch thinking you failed. But I think for me, some of the most like devastating learning lessons, some of the biggest hardships, if you want to put things in perspective, those were the biggest pivots and shifts that allowed me to move in the direction that we're in today. So, all the losses, all the stresses, all the this and that, that comes with success. So you have to kind of learn to embrace it. And then once you embrace it as part of the process, you don't look at it or pay as much attention to it. You just start to absorb it and you're like, fuck that. Like, I got this in me to keep moving.
It is what it is. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. No, that's true. And I feel like that really determines your character too, because if there's one thing you can make sure of, it's things that are going to go wrong at some point.
Oh, yeah.
And it depends how you handle that.
Yeah.
It really shows your character and how much you really want it.
Absolutely, man. I think everyone in this industry's got their fireman outfit on because that's what you're constantly doing. You're just putting out fires and trying to get those out to move on to the next one and then find a little gap in your day towards the success you're trying to live.
That's for damn sure. Even putting out fires, like you said before, when it comes to social media, you try to just get yourself out there and they're like, nah, we don't even want your money for advertising.
Yeah. And it's weird because cannabis is legal, even though it's not federally legal, but you would think the demographic and the people behind Instagram and these youthful platforms that are appealing to the masses, you would gain so much more if you accepted cannabis for where it's at.
Of course.
And allow these people to advertise and market and embrace it. But right now there's this weird struggle and flagging, and it's like, I hope you figure it out one day.
I hope they do too. And shout out to X. Hopefully they could take their lead and just let it be free,
Right?
This is a free country. We should be able to post and choose what we consume.
Absolutely.
What we don't,
For sure, man.
But I will say your packaging is pretty fucking elegant, man. What made you come up with these designs?
I think in life, like in our youth or whatever, there's like trends, there's phases, there's all these things. And when I was paying attention to what the industry was doing, there's so many like diversity of great brands. There's like, they all have their own aesthetic, which makes them special. And when I was looking at like the big picture, I don't want to say like alcohol inspired me, but when I look at alcohol brands, they've stayed the same forever and they resonate with people, and their branding is so clear that when you look at Maker's Mark, you see the red wax dripping or you name it, Budweiser, whatever they are out there. Like they have stood in the game for such a long time, and they appeal to so many wide variety of people. Right. So
True.
I don't even want to say me develop a brand because, I really got to take my hat off to my partner, Miguel.
Yeah.
I was so confused in the very beginning when I'm packaging product, going to the shops and doing all this stuff. I had an idea in front of me, but I had such a hard time executing it to the caliber that it is today. Mm-hmm. And Melissa that works with us came in. She's like, hey, Miguel's a creative. You should talk to him. I was like, hey man, you see what I'm trying to do here? I can't physically I don't have it in me right now, so let me see what you got. And he nailed it.
Wow.
And I'm so thankful to have him on our team. He's such a great partner. He's a huge asset to what we do, like all the key components to our branding. At the end of the day, what you're really asking me is I wanted something that had longevity. I didn't want to be a phase that was outgrown. And I hope that we accomplish that in the industry. We just really want to highlight quality. Yeah. We're not here to bring fancy packaging with some garbage inside. We don't really stand for that. You know, our 25 years in the industry, we're not in it for the shortcut. Like, we truly do want to evolve with where the industry's going, have beautiful packaging that makes a statement towards people that appreciate good quality cannabis.
Absolutely. And I could just tell from the dedication that went into the packaging that if you put that much effort into the packaging, you better have put in some good effort into the weed too.
Absolutely.
So I can definitely, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, our man, our cultivation team, Chad Salute, he's such a gem to have. You're like, when you look at people that like fulfill a role in a company, you know, you could position a lot of people, but if they're not happy in that position, you're going to get that out of them.
You'll feel that.
Yeah.
You
but
will.
if you put someone in a role that they love and they are truly passionate about, you're going to get 110% out of them. And I honestly, our whole cultivation team, like especially Chad, he's taken our company to levels that keep us where we're at in the game, as well as our other partner, Aaron Batesh. He's our second cultivator that's like high up there on the totem pole.
Okay.
Without those two guys, man, if you really look at branding and what this industry is about, it starts with quality. It starts with the plant. The branding is an aspect of just elevating what you're trying to get people to buy into or believe in.
Absolutely.
And it starts with flower. It starts with the quality, and then if you could highlight that and showcase it on an elevated level to make people feel like they're spending their money in the right direction, that's all it's about.
That's all it is. If you feel like you got your money's worth, man, we're good to go.
There's no snake oil here. You know, we try our best to really put good quality out there and a good diversity of genetics.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what products do you guys have? I know you have the flower.
We do. So, you know, we have our A's, half ounces. You know, flower's our thing. Like, we're mainly flower guys. We do extracts on a small batch just because we can. We try to manufacture and use everything from our biomass and just really fine tune the craft and, you know, offer like top tier quality. So from our flower to our rosin, to our vape line, we produce all of our own distillate. We use cannabis derived terpenes. I know there's a lot of shit talk on distillate where people are like, but there's a market for everyone. Like, people that like distillate, you know, people that like, to each their own, you know, who cares? Like, just do whatever you want, you know, like it's like, if everyone likes their egg scrambled different, I'm not mad at you for that. Like, it doesn't affect me. Right.
Not at all.
So we try to do it all, you know, the distillate. Our newest SKU right here is the alchemy line. When I saw people doing the rosin carts, right, the viscosity of rosin is so thick, and hardware, you can't really depend on hardware.
Definitely
you know,
not.
A lot of us do. And it could be a huge flaw in the drop of a new product SKU, right?
Yep.
So if you have a new vape line, you come out with a sick ass look and all this shit, and your hardware sucks, the audience and the people that bought it, you're going to get a really shitty response. Yeah. So we vetted this alchemy line for quite some time. It took us about a year to develop. The viscosity of live rosin through this hardware has been a big game changer and win for us. My partner, Mike, internally, he's our chief operations officer. He's a great guy. Like, he's very well grounded. I think he keeps our company on a very nice playing field because his feet are always on the ground, and he's got this like zen in him. When I'm having a hard time, I'm like, Mike, bro, I'm fucking losing it.
He's your energy guy?
Yeah, he's like a very zen kind of like, all right, let's figure this out. Same with my partner, Miguel. Like, those two dudes keep my cool when I feel like I could lose it. But yeah, Mike developed this. He's the one doing the blends. Kind of like if you look at red wine, there's blends, there's flavor profiles.
Absolutely.
This particular SKU is very well curated around flavor profiles, and I can't wait for you guys to try it.
Definitely.
Give me some feedback. The Citra one is my personal preference just because I like those orange citrusy flavor profiles, you know, not to favor any over the other. That's just my personal preference.
Hey,
but
we all have one.
We try to do it all, you know, just because we can. We cultivate everything. It's all under our roof. And we feel like, why not just make the most out of what your practice is?
Beautiful. And now, if I'm correct, you have your own retail.
We do.
Okay. And how did you get into that?
It was just an opportunity that we had at the right time. Actually, I don't even know if it was the right time because we were paying rent on this building in Tarzana for forever until we finally got approval. But we're thankful to have a voice that kind of shows that we're in it for the long run.
Yeah.
Like once I started seeing other companies, highlighting their craft with their own retail and what they were doing, like Jungle Boys, for instance, has done a fantastic job.
Definitely.
Those guys were on the front line way back in the day when I was like, holy shit, like even scared to talk about the craft when they were out there highlighting what they did.
Yep.
They've done a fantastic job branding themselves. Like their
For
legacies in the game, they've done it great. So watching what they've done, being inspired by groups like them, it only made sense for us to start our own retail store in the Valley in Tarzana on Ventura Boulevard. And have a little here we are in it for the long run.
Yep,
and we keep exclusive strains over there and certain things that we don't share across the board where you can exclusively get it at the Maven store.
Beautiful. That's really fucking dope. And obviously, I'm sure that wasn't the easiest thing to do. What was some struggles moving into that retail that you faced?
I didn't really have a whole lot of hands-on with it. I'm gonna have to go back to Miguel.
Shout out to your team, bro. Sounds like you have a great team.
We do, because I think a lot of us divide and conquer. Like if you have all of us sitting at the same table, nothing's getting done. So like our whole thing is divide and conquer, come back together, fill in the gaps, and keep each other in tune with what moves we made. And my partner Dave, Mike, Jason, like all these cats had like their contributions in it. But if you look at the true aesthetic of it, my partner Miguel, man, like I can't highlight that man enough for what he's done for our company, the aesthetics that he's given. Like we're all a winning team. Like it takes a whole team to make the win happen, and he's done a great job with that.
It definitely does. And me, I have a music background, so coming from that, like it sounds like what you've established here is just a great, like we have to get a great engineer, a great producer. All that kind of shit. So it sounds like you got that all in a row. Yeah. So,
and it's funny, man, like even the music industry is so relevant to like cannabis because there's hits, you know what I mean? And like not everything's going to be a hit. Yeah. So when we're producing strains, going through all these different phenotypes and getting feedback, we're always wondering, do we have a hit right here? Yeah. So, it's an interesting
That's
thing.
A really cool way to put it. I actually have never looked at it that way. Yeah. So now I'm going to look at it like that
forever.
Because
then it's highlighted, like a song, cool. Bro, like a song that you put out. Everyone's like, oh, that song's fucking dope. And like, you want to hear it. You look at strains, that strain's fucking, I love that strain. It kind of builds that same momentum.
That's true.
And I think music and cannabis definitely complement each other.
Shit, speaking of strains, what's one of your favorite strains?
One of my favorite strains, it's going to be our FKAFL. And the reason it's FKAFL, it's formerly known as French Laundry.
Okay.
We had a little bit of an interesting, how do I say it? We got a little letter from Thomas Keller up at the French Laundry restaurant for using the name, but it was awesome that we got that type of visibility. Absolutely. And we already had our run with it. So FKAFL, it's one of our strongest strains, really potent. Big fan of it. It looks beautiful. Our Prism, our Orange Sapphire. I mean, we cultivate so many different genetics, and I think that's the beautiful part about our company is we have a great diversity of flavor palette options,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And now how involved are you in cultivation till today?
I'm not that involved, dude. Like I'll go take a little walk through it because if I'm at the office, I'm not doing my job, man. Like my whole thing is to be out in the field, building relationships, highlighting the brand, opening new doors. When I walk through the cultivation, I'm always impressed. I'm always like, holy shit. Yeah. I love it. I miss it in here. But my attitude and my personality doesn't fit sitting in a room all day. Yeah. I did it for 15 years. You know what I mean? It was an awesome experience. I understand cultivation, maybe not to the T of today's growing practice, but I get it enough to respect it. Yeah. And what truly goes into cultivating like good quality. I'm inspired by my team and I'm like, damn. I'll do a little run through just to go see it and walk out proud.
Exactly. You damn near got to go in and talk to them sweet, make sure they come out good.
Man. You got to let those ladies know you love them. And there's a lot of love going on at our facilities,
Good. Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Absolutely.
And shit. So, what would be some advice that you could give maybe someone who's fresh and getting into the game and just to learn from some things that you've already dealt with?
Don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. Just be passionate about it. It's going to come with so many hurdles. It's going to come with a lot of challenges. There's no there's no like overnight success. It's a long-term play that you really have to be proud about all the challenges that come with it. And it's just like life in general, you know what I mean? But with this particular business, it has above and beyond challenges that most businesses have, at least from my knowledge. And it's a passion project. It's nothing that you get into, you win overnight, and you won. It's something you really have to love. You live in it. You embrace it. And if that's your personality, just make sure that your branding and what you stand for is coming from an authentic place. There's a lot of people that get inspired, and I see it over and over again, the lack of creativity, the over accentuating on their brand, which they were way too inspired by another brand, and you could see it in theirs. I'm like, bro, how do you feel good about that? Like, you were so inspired by this other brand that you almost look like them.
Yeah.
Don't do that. You know what I mean? It looks lame. It's bad on your part. Just be authentic, man. Just deliver your vision and elevate it, because sometimes the first thing that you put out, it's not going to look like what it can a year from now as you evolve as a brand. And it's okay to change. It's okay to evolve. Yeah. This may not look like this forever. We might elevate this and evolve it and do some things, but it will still have the same aesthetic. So at the end of the day, just be authentic to what your craft is, and follow your passions with integrity.
Great. And now with the brand, where do you see it in 5 to 10 years?
We're about to launch in Nevada here soon. We partnered up with a really amazing group, Red Diamond, out there. They're such great people, man. Like, you talk about synergy and meeting a group that you just automatically high five. Like, that was an instant win for me, which you don't really feel that often. Yeah. We met them through our affiliates at Planet 13. They're
in Vegas. Yeah, absolutely.
They're such an awesome group of people. We went out there to do a tour, and some connections that I had opened the door for us to go view multiple facilities. And then when we came across Red Diamond, man, like, what a great group of people. Open-minded. They're not know-it-alls. Most growers or people that you meet are know-it-alls, and they don't want to change their practice because they think they're doing great.
They got it.
Well, they would come out to see our facility. We went out there. We did this back and forth to understand the dynamics and SOPs, and we're very fortunate to work and partner with a great group. So Nevada's coming. Illinois is coming. Just baby steps. Steady
Good
pace
shit.
wins the race. Just keep our head down, stay in our lane, and just really, proud to do what we do.
Absolutely. And what retailers are you in here in California? Where can the people find you?
We're in quite a few retails. So we have that on our Maven website, mavenmvn.com. You could see all of the accounts that we work with. We're, I think, in a little roughly over like 500, 600 accounts out through California, from Sacramento to San Diego.
Okay.
Great partners. Like I say, nowadays, like, partnerships are everything, and it's not just about being on the shelf. You got to really shake hands with the people you want to work with.
Definitely. And just a question I had about that, since you did mention San Diego, I feel like the markets are a little bit different in San Diego and in LA. Why do you think that really is? Like, where do you think the disconnect is?
Just demographic, man. Like, if you look at San Diego, it's such a beautiful beach town.
Yeah.
Like, it's so chill. Every time I go to San Diego, I feel like I get a reset, even though it's like 3 hours, 2.5 outside of LA. But LA is like this like crazy, irritable environment, man, where like you're stuck in traffic all the time. Even if you want to go somewhere that's 10 minutes away, it probably takes 30 to 40.
Yeah.
San Diego, dude, like, there's no real traffic. You get where you want. It's real laid back. It has its own vibe out there. San Diego definitely has its own vibe. So I love going out there. Even Sac. Like, Sacramento is so good to us. LA is a very challenging market because of the saturation, the trap shops that are out here that nobody regulates on. So that's a major challenge for us because, certain organizations said that they're going to do that.
Speaking of that, what's one law you think that if you could snap your fingers and change overnight would help the most?
Just the taxes, bro.
Yeah.
And like, getting in trouble nowadays, there's like, everyone's willing to risk getting in trouble for the reward.
Yeah.
Because there is no real implementation of
No.
it's a slap on the wrist and don't do that again. And you're like, fine, I just made millions of dollars. I'm willing to go take the risk, and there is no real consequence. But meanwhile, we're sitting here paying taxes, paying security. We're paying for everything, and none of it's really being enforced on the opposition that like crushes what we stand for. So
Yeah.
There's so many things I could change, but I just think, just to be fair in the industry, and I hope that the organizations that gave us the guidelines would do what they what they're supposed to be doing.
No, I agree. Definitely. Things need to change here, or I guess we're not going to survive. You know,
I mean,
there will be no more market in California.
Man, the challenge is going to get really scary when this tax thing goes up, because the writing's on the wall that the industry's failing, man. Like, it's sad to see people's like hard work and dedication to this industry. And I've seen doors close left and right. I've seen brands go under left and right. And a lot of that has to do with the poor practice and lack of fairness with this industry and its structure.
It's crazy to see. But on a lighter note, with obviously cannabis comes a lot of events. So how important do you think being at events and having a presence and stuff like that is in this industry?
Events are everything, man. And I really appreciate what event coordinators have done for brand visibility, gathering space for like this sharing of unity with the culture of cannabis, and kind of what got us here.
Yeah.
Olympics, Olympics, man, like we're in it. We're fortunate to be in it. I truly love what Olympics does, because they have a very blind sampling. In the old days, like, you could buy a fucking High Times trophy and say you won. I would never want a trophy that I didn't truly earn.
Never.
Or have favoritism towards. And that's what I love as Olympics has truly curated. They give people a whole month to sample flowers. It's not like you're back-to-back sampling to where your palate gets thrown off.
Yeah.
They are true masters of what they do right now in the event space. And it's like for me, it's like the Grammys of the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
Like, to be a part of those Olympics is like being at the Grammys for me.
Absolutely.
They're fantastic. There's so many other ones like Kushstock. There's Farmers Cup San Diego. There's so many, you know what I mean? But the ones that really move the needle were, I think all brands are extremely thankful for.
Definitely. We'll be out there at Olympics as well.
Come see us, bro. We got a little booth. We had our sponsors from like Hawthorne, General Hydro, Gavita. They came in on it with us, and we're going to have a nice little booth and share some space with people that want to sit, smoke, and watch the action happen.
Have a good time.
It's going to be a beautiful moment.
Oh, definitely. And what other events? Do you have anything else coming up besides the Olympics?
I know Farmers Cup Burner's going to be doing a performance out there.
Is that the one down in San Diego?
Yeah, I would love to see you guys there too, man.
We're going to be there.
They're a great group of people too, man. Like I say, like all these partnerships that are happening, the way that they embrace the culture, the way like the professionalism that's evolving in this industry is a beautiful thing to see. It's not like you're just throwing up a tent and smoking joint. Like the level of like recognition and like the highlight that these events are giving brands, it just goes like San Diego, man. Farmers Cup was so good to us because we had a little bit of traction out there. The minute we won a little visibility, our demand went up.
Yeah.
So it does count,
Definitely.
And we're just happy to be seen, bro. It doesn't have to really come down to a trophy.
Yeah.
If you're seen with the best of the best, that's a win in my book.
That's it. And I do love to see the community come together because, like you said, you don't see them as competitors. Hey, there's enough room for everybody.
Yeah, let everyone win.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And it's cool to see. Definitely cool to see. Is there anything else that you want the people to really know about you and your brand?
At the end of the day, I think we're just a group of dudes that's happy to do what we do. We are about as authentic as it gets. And I don't know, man. It's really hard to highlight that particular question when we're just like stoked to do what we do, and we have so much work ahead of us to elevate our current position.
Of course. Yeah, no, for sure. Shit. One more thing I think we want to get out of you. What has been like some of your wildest stories just being in the industry? Like one, if you could highlight one for now, because we'll bring you back on.
Oh, sure. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, what was the question again? Because there's so many thoughts that just went through my head.
Like wild stories just being in the industry. Has like anything stand out to you? Like, damn, yeah, that was a crazy night, or like just in general.
There's so many wild stories, bro. Some I'd love to share with you guys off mic.
Yeah.
Because those are the most wild ones that actually have a lot of weight.
Okay.
In the industry, but I don't know, man. I think wild times are basically my favorite moments. I think when they're not even really wild times, but I would just say like what shit. What am I thinking of right here? I don't know why I went blank. Give me a minute and
You're good. Yeah,
I'll
take your
find
time.
it. I don't know why I just went blank because it's such an important such an important event.
Yeah.
I'll think of it here in a minute, and I don't know why because it's current. Why am I losing this? I'll figure it out in a minute.
All right.
But it's when you get all the brands together, bro. Like when you come and do these big trade shows. What's the biggest trade show, bro? I don't
Champs?
know. No, Champs is cool. We were just a part of it. Hall of Flowers, man.
Hall of
Flowers, bro.
Okay. Yep.
There's such great people, bro. Like when you look at what Hall of Flowers and like Network has done, the homie Shay started Network. He does it in his own way. And then Hall of Flowers, they do it in their own way. But the level of professionalism to bring all the brands together to like highlight their shit. When it comes to like Wild Times, what's cool is when you get a bunch of legacy guys in the same room together, like Alien Labs, like Ted has some of the dopest stories, Caleb from Connect. Like you get these cats like all in a room and we're sitting here telling stories, like the LAX PAX guys, Cam, like you name it, dude, you get the heavy hitters all in one room.
Yeah.
It's exciting, dude. And it's so cool to like hear stories and like laugh and have this relevance to all of our risk and like the path that has taken to get where we're at, you know, like that shit's cool. The other stuff's not so cool, but there's scary like stories that have definitely been a part of most legacy person's journey getting here.
For sure. And it's funny that you say that because that's actually exactly what my idea was, to get all these people in a room and maybe have like a barbecue, you know, just some shit. People
let
share
me know,
stories.
man, because the Rolodex I have for all those guys is accessible. They're amazing people. And I love hearing their stories too, because a lot of those brands were inspiring to me.
Yeah.
You know, when we first started, I was like, damn, bro.
And if they inspired you, they will definitely inspire other people too.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So, you know, just authentic people, man, you get to thrive off of and really be inspired by what they did to, you know, inspire you to do better.
Absolutely. Well, we're definitely inspired by you guys over here with your work ethic and the product that you guys have brought.
Thank you, man. I hope you guys enjoy it and
appreciate it.
Give me a little feedback, and you're close enough for me to do the little neighbor drop on you.
Yeah, we got reviews coming for you too after this. Like I said, we'll let the people know what to look for. But hey, man, we really do appreciate you coming out, sharing your story, bringing your energy. Where can the people find you?
You could find us at the Maven Genetics store there in Tarzana. You could find us at Kush Alley. If you go to mavenmvn.com, you could look at our store locator on there to find us. So we're out there, man.
Go check them out. They got some serious products, great people behind the brand too. So we love to support it. Shit. What'd you say? Oh, is there anyone you want to shout out while you're on here?
It's such a funny question because like the shout outs I would have to give are just like all the people that that have inspired me to get where we're at, you know, and that list is so long, you know what I mean?
So shout out to y'all.
You know, shout out to y'all because the list is so damn long. But at the end of the day, you know, I just shout out to all the bud tenders. You know what I mean? Shout out to the bud tenders and all of our retail partners mainly, because the bud tenders, man, I feel like they get so overlooked and their role seems so minute in the retail or just the cannabis space in general. But the bud tenders, man, without them standing behind your brand and knowing who you are, brands don't exist.
100%.
And they're the ones that truly dictate the success and the pulse of what brands bring to the industry. So if they're not by you, you're not winning. You know what I mean? So big shout out to all the bud tenders out there, everyone that supports us. And we're just grateful to be where we're at. God
bless. Well, like I said, you're a legend. We appreciate your story.
You,
we appreciate what you've done for the industry. And man, go give this guy a follow. Everything, go support, go to his retail. But that's it today for the Green Rush Nation podcast. Go like, subscribe, comment, tell your mother, your brother, your sister, tell everybody. But we'll see you next time.
Green Rush. Thank you guys.
Appreciate you.
I just had the bluest dream that you've ever seen, and I can't believe that shit was green, cause it hit so clean, and my history is a mystery. I don't give a fuck, I just hit the tree on the 5th degree. We don't pit for free. If you don't got 5 shit, get up and leave.